Good evening, everybody. This is going to be a very interesting race this evening. Everybody's been dreading the Manaco, very unforgiving track. So far, best lap during practice during the week was from Greever, of course, because it is his favorite track. But we'll just see who gets to finish this race. So far ahead, Red Bull on the constructors, and Greever is one of the most points driver. Just started the practice. First lap's coming in. 1:13.723 from Ruit. Not a bad time for a start. We have a viewer, the Hobbit, saying good luck to all of you. They definitely gonna need that. Time slowly coming in. We've got a 1:12.311 from Greever. Corner cutting settings has been set to strict, so even the ones not hitting the walls on this track, it's going to be very strict on the corners, the cutting. So probably going to be a lot of penalties in this race. Outlaps D2, King Alpha and Big Fudge. D2, also very strong driver, dreaded by the rest. They were joking that he has to stay on the grid until the first driver passes him. But we'll see how that goes. Not bad times coming in. We've got a 1:12 still from Greever. We've got a 1:13.7 from Brut in third. 1:14.650 from Tiny. Quite a few outlaps there. It's unfortunately quite a few drivers this evening that could not make it. But unfortunately with load shedding, etc., on Friday there was simply too many that couldn't make it. From load shedding straight through to previous family responsibilities. Cooper coming in with a 1:18. I'm sure that's going to, him, very aggressive driver, got to increase a lot there. By the end, they'll probably cut that to a 1:15 or 1:14. Two drivers still in pits. Ray's got his time to a 1:14.571. Ahead of Tiny. Got Big Fudge with a 1:16.916. Got D2, of course, with a 1:13.116. Very good driver. But this is going to be a race of who can keep calm, keep a level head. Some of the guys with this unforgiving track tend to push it a bit hard, go a bit wide, and the barriers on this very close. Lose wings right of cause. Ooh, King Alpha I'm sure there was some spin out or something there, because very strong driver, only a 132. Got Caveman coming in with a 114.659. Yet to 4 more drivers with no times yet. Just under 8 minutes to go in the qualifying. Those guys should start getting out there. Maybe get a warm-up lap and a good lap. But there is one or two guys that don't mind starting on the back of the grid, because it makes it so much easier on that first or second turns. Less of a bunch going. Let's see, nobody changing times at the moment. Ninja with his outlap. Spider Pig, only driver still stuck in the pit. Tiny pushing a 113.988. Not a bad time there. D2 coming back out of the pit. Made some tweaks to his setting there. Joshua with a 116.212. A few guys back in the pits doing some final tweaks. We did set this to be a bit of a different one. We're racing midnight time, so that first lap tires are going to be very cold. As you can see, Tiny is spinning out there. On board with D2. Oof. That doesn't cost him in a race. Bit of a corner cutting there. Yellow flag out. 5 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Spider Pig still to get out there. Big Fudge with a 160.916. Only 2 that went back out. 3. Very few of them coming out now. Let's see if King Alpha can beat that time. Very good driver, but he seems to be struggling a bit this season. Caveman tweaks. Outlap again. Let's see. Ninja putting up a time of 116.237. Tiny back out. Spider Pig, Ari, no times, still in the pits. D2 putting up a faster time, 111.174, beating his own previous time by 2.2 seconds. That's very good. That's expected. Very good driver. Can get a bit aggressive, and this is not a track to push it too far. Greever probably taking that as a challenge. See what happens during the race. See what happens with Tiny on his outlap. Because we have a... Ooh, that's going to cost him. That's going to cut him. Because we have a few inexperienced drivers here, we did put the ghost car on, as you can see there. Gavin. Yellow flag out. Caveman putting his time up. 1:13.220. Very good time there. Ooh, King Alpha pushed up his time by just over 4 seconds. Oh, sorry. My mistake. Thinking of somebody else. Pushed it up from 1:32 to 1:14. Oh, that's to be expected from him. Grabs the 18 second of his previous time. Probably just a bad lap, or maybe hit the wing. Ari finally on a out lap. Got one lap, and I see Spider Pig as well out. Tiny, let's see on board with him. One of the Mercs spinning out a bit there. A lot of drifting going on with this cars. Ooh, that Merc seems to be struggling. That's King. Big Fudge slowing down for a faster driver. Ninja does losing a bit of his wing there. On board with Spider Pig. Let's see him doing his lap. $1:24.03. I'm sure that's going to improve a lot during the race. Ari with his only lap going. Last one to get a time. Yellow flag again. Ari putting up 1:16.372. Like I said, some of the guys prefer back of the grid start because of that whole bunch up during the first, let's say, 3 corners when the cars are still very close together. A lot of crashes going on there, wings damage, etc. Gives those guys time to open up a bit. I see Greever out to better that time. Brut, he's on a medium. As expected, the rest would prefer soft for this. Oh, and Greever spins out there. Bit of damage on his front wing. Not that it matters. Qualifying time over. Not bad starting on a second position there. Everybody in the pits. Let's see, Ari. One last lap. That's the end. Ari ends in 9th position for that time. So, on the grid, we have D2. One with a 111.174. Greever, Caveman, Brewer, Tiny Ray, Rez, King, Big Fudge, Ari, Joshua, Ninja Dust, Spider Pig, Cooper. Seems like it's going to be interesting in the middle area. So all the times are very, very close together. You've got 3 13s there, 3 14s. Time for the race. And seeing that I'm commentating on my own this evening, please feel free. Join us. Send some text messages. Let's see if this is going to be a rainy start. That could make it even just that little bit more interesting. It's going to be a battle to see who finishes the race, not just who finishes first. And amongst the viewers, we've got the lovely race administrator, Hobbit, also watching the race. Her husband, of course, Greever. Seems like a few of the guys are a bit of a delay on the load of the game. There we go. "20 seconds till start." And the grid is on. Race has started. Let's see who gets away. Caveman pushes through. Greever falling back to 6th place. Of course, as we expected, that first turn. D2 getting that gap. Everybody behind him bunching up. Greever keeps falling. Greever now 9th. Started on 2nd. All the players were very close together at the stage. And some gaps opening. D2 just increasing that gap. Very wet. Ooh! And D2 gets a DNF. And Cooper retired. Rez retired. Fudge retired. All from that first. Good Ari. Everybody out. It's interesting. Ah, just got the confirmation. Everybody retired from the race. Nice to let the commentator know. Let's see. Aha. Okay. My apologies. They decided to restart the race. It looks like too many cars damaged in that first corner. Just waiting for this to finish.
Gone?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, the Spider Pig didn't make it back in time before the press start. I'll give you the custom grid now.
Okay.
Yes, you'll just have to restart the lobby then.
Restart
Thank
it.
you. Sorry, everybody.
That's okay. Later on, his wife will smack him around a bit.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Luckily, she's watching, so it's cool. Okay. Red.
Jy preset jy kon save.
Pick it.
Okay. Axel. Okay.
Greever invited. Let's see. Joshua. King Alpha. Ninja Dust invited. Rez. Tiny. Okay.
Invite is. Get jy to join session. Invite net gee weer.
Okay. Net gaan hierdie doen. Okay, stream host. Okay, take it I should just change the qualifying to one shot.
Nee, ons gaan session options dan as jy nou geload het. Ons session options dan custom grid gaan. So vir al die plekke gee.
Okay, let's just do this. Much easier. Okay, settings. Okay, collisions on, vehicle damage reduced. I'm just going to redo it. Ghosting, car setup full, blah blah blah. Corner cutting, strict. Information level race starts manual, so scroll, blah blah. Okay. Host options. 45. 20, car performance equal. Practice length. No. One shot qualifying.
Nee, of dan moet ons custom grid.
Okay, race distance 50%. Starting grid. Custom grid, yes. Grid editor. Yep. Okay, no, not all the players are in yet, so that's fine. We'll select those just now. Start time. Start time. Let's keep it on midnight. The guys wanted that.
Ja, midnight en dan sal hom nou op wait weather moet begin. Okay, grid editor.
Okay, wait. Weather, overcast, dry, wet. Okay, sunrise, morning, midday, afternoon, sunset. Okay, I cannot select midnight, so that's fine. We'll do it sunset. Race settings, they should use blah blah blah.
Wait.
Restrictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, weight's done. Traction control, the rest is done. Okay. Okay, all the players in yet? Okay, it looks like
Yeah,
it.
it looks like everybody's ready.
Okay, so host options, custom grid editor. Let's see. Number 1, D.
Me too.
Move player up. Okay, number 2.
Caveman.
Uh-huh. Yep,
Brood.
yep.
Tiny.
Uh, Tiny not in yet. Tiny hasn't joined yet. Okay, after Tiny.
Uh, then it's Rez.
Yep,
Dan is dit ek.
yep.
Ekskuus, ek het terugkom hier. O nee, nee, dis King Alpha speel my.
Yep.
Okay, Big Fudge onder my.
Okay, Tiny was
P4.
before.
Ja.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Big Fudge P8.
Okay, I'm just moving myself down, sorry.
Okay.
Big Fudge B8.
Ja. Ari P9.
Yep,
Joshua Not P10.
yep,
Cooper P11.
yep,
Ninja Dust P12.
yeah, and
Spider Pig P13, ja.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Confirm changes. Just I have to change track.
Okay, ek gaan oor.
Just give me a sec. Track select. Manaco. Lobby. Okay, that seems like it. Sorry about that, everybody. We had some difficulties. So, race conditions set to start at sunset. And still a wet race. Keep it interesting. Waiting for those last few races to ready up. Seconds to go. No excuses. And off we go. Session loading a lot faster this time. Seems like I spoke too soon on that one. So the guys, machine's taking time to load. As I said earlier, feel free. Join in on the commentating. Send us some chat messages at the bottom. Seems like one of the races seems to be experiencing some issues with loading of the game. It's just restarting his game. Apologies to the viewers, just normal technical difficulties going on with one of the races. Seems to have rejoined. So you can get back into the grid here. Race starting with one of the drivers. His technical difficulty seems to be a bit much. Unable to join. And starting grid. And we're off again. As you can see, nice and wet conditions. Let's see that first turn this time. Some wings flying in the back there. Okay, and we've got D2 still in front. The caveman close behind. Guys driving very cautious. Got a predicted stop there. Ooh, that turn is very slowly. D2 racing through the tunnel. Guys still very, very close together there. Penalties at least. Awarded to anybody. On start, King Alpha went up 2. Tiny and Rez dropped 1 each. Fudge up 1. Cooper up 3. Spider Pig from last to 11th, up 2 positions. The top 3 though stayed in their positions. Drivers very close. Bruit on Caveman's heels there. And King Alpha even closer to him. Big fight going on there for 2, 3 and 4. Greever, I'm sure, is pushing hard to get back to the front. Some pieces flying there. Let's see, whose is that? Very close together. Let's see what's going on the back. And Greever takes a position from Ari. Oh, some touching going on there between Greever and Ari. Very, very close. Greever very close to Rez, his teammate. Big bunch going on there. Let's see what King can do. Seems to be struggling in this wet weather. Catch up with Bruit. Oh, and King nudging the wall there. Losing some time. But Greever 5 seconds behind Cooper. Ari on Rez's heels there. Playing it cautious, waiting for the bigger areas. Ari and a few taking it from Rez. Ooh, Rez into the pits. Okay. Yellow flag out. D2 just continuing to open that gap. Bruit still on Caveman's heels. See if it can push past in the tunnel. Ari with a DNF. First DNF so far. I'm sure there'll be quite a few still. Bruit just ooh, and King cutting a corner there. No penalty awarded though. Tiny. Field slowly opening up. Bruit still trying to get past Caveman. There you can see from that view. Those wet tires, bit of a odd look from the normal slicks. King Alpha and Tiny very close. Seems like the chase is now changed to Bruit to 3, 4 and 5. Tiny falling back. Still trying to catch up to King. We've got 2 penalties. Caveman with a 5-second, King with a 3-second. Going through the tunnel. As you can see, cars very close together. Chasing. Just keeping it slow, bunching the cars up again. That safety car out. Of course, that nice gap that D2 built up, now gone. sure he's just going to open it up again. So, let's see. Still a big gap there between 8 and 9 though. Just couldn't catch up with that safety car. Brutt all the way in 8th. And the front runners just now. We've got Brutt, Joshua, Rez, Spider Pig, and Ninja Dust already have their first stops.
It's a very difficult track to drive.
And the DNF, Ari, joining us. Ari, what happened?
We actually had some hugging on the wall.
Ah, we
while
saw
the
that,
cars were
yeah.
sliding, and then poof, the wall hit me.
Oof. Like I said in the beginning, this is a very, very unforgiving track.
Especially with its weight.
Keeping it interesting. And the
It's
yellow
fun.
car closing all those big gaps that some of the guys built up. Even Joshua caught up from 32-second gap to a 5-second gap now to Brutt. Interesting though, the front runners didn't do their first stop. So only the back on the grid that did their stops. Penalties awarded. Caveman, 5 seconds. King Alpha, 3 seconds. Big Fudge, 5 seconds. Brutt gets a drive-through. Sorry, how did you experience in general? Ari? We seem to have lost our second commentator. Tiny. Got some drops there. Oh, as you can see, very, very, very wet. On lap 6 already. Penalties, let's see. Stops. King Alpha went in for a stop. We're still waiting for safety car. A lot of penalties going on now. Guys driving too fast. Guys swapping positions. Spider Big, 5 second. Race, 5 second. Ooh, King Alpha pushing it up with an extra 5 seconds. Spider Pig getting an extra 5 seconds. As usual, the safety car racking up those penalties. Guys spinning out there. Tiny falling back, letting the guys pass. And we're off. Okay, let's hop on board with the leader, D2. Very clean driving. See these fights going on. Greever in the middle there too. as they come through the tunnel. The guy's speeding up a bit. The tunnel being dry. On the back here we've got King, Big Fudge and Tiny being chased. See the two McLarens there. Tiny on Fudge's heels. These guys don't have a first or a second driver. Whoever drives the fastest gets in front. They don't care. Got Bruet on the heels of Greever in front on fourth. That's a sudden, okay. Wet position, wet conditions, shuffling the grid a lot. Greever on Cooper's heels, chasing hard. He wants to catch D2. In real life, Greever, D2, Reyes, Ari, they're all very good friends. When there's racing, all's fair in love and war. Ooh, and Cooper losing a bit of his wing there. Nudging the wall. You can see the damage on the front there. Sure, he's going to lose some nice position there. Okay, and running clean. Big damage on the wing there. He's not going to be able to keep it on the road. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. Everybody's still running those wet tires. Greever just waiting for Cooper to make a mistake there. Let's see, back of the grid, Big Fudge chasing King Alpha. Ooh, see pieces flying there from previous cars. King catching up to Greever, all bunched up there. That makes for some interesting racing. See the pieces flying there. Nice train going. There, 3, 4, 5, and 6. One little mistake from a driver there could take out a few. Oof. Another piece flying there. Bit of a damage there on King's wing. He's going to be struggling to keep that on the road. Tiny. Oh, Tiny's a AI driver. He was the driver with the technical difficulties. That's a AI. King chasing hard there. 0.2. Oh, King chasing just too hard. Damaging his car some more there. That's unfortunate. Cooper taking over from Tiny. Greever in third. Fudge in fourth. Both aggressive drivers. Could be interesting. They've been joking all week to take each other out. It's always like in real life, the team arguments also going on, not just between drivers. Fudge keeping it clean, driving cautious. Okay, let's see. Tiny chasing Cooper. On board with Cooper. Greever putting in a fastest lap, 1:30.084. As you can see, so much slower than previous one. Cooper going in, getting new wing, getting some tires. Falling back. And D2 just opening that gap. Running at 9.5, we're going to be on a 10-second gap in a moment. Greever chasing Caveman for second. Very hard. Coming through the tunnel, catching up to Caveman. Caveman's not going to give that up so easily. Ooh, bit of a drifting going on there from Greever. Just pushing that little bit too hard. Then a bit further back, Brut chasing hard to catch up to Tiny Ray. Slowly catching up. You can see the penalties, a lot of penalties given. .6, let's see this fight. Tiny not giving that up so easily. Bullet's going to have to work very hard for this one. And this track not making it so easy. Ooh, and Brut gets it. Good thing about that ghost car thing is set up. Okay, so we are getting Tiny. Tiny not giving it up. He's still chasing. Wants that back. Looks like, well, the race is going well. Better than expected. We all expected a lot more DNFs. And that's without it being wet. And then because we started the previous one wet, we decided, let's keep it that way. Make it interesting. It's a difficult track. Now difficult conditions as well. Greever chasing hard on the front there. Caveman. So let's see. Then King chasing Spider Pig on the back of the grid. As you can see, of the top 10 drivers, which is your points earners, only 3 has no penalties. D2, Tiny, and Ninja Dust. The rest seems to be racking up those penalties. King took it from Spider Pig. That's nice driving. Greever still chasing hard. Caveman making it as difficult as possible. As I said earlier, this is Greever's probably the only driver here that likes this track. This is his favorite track. And even he said he's scared. Oh, and D2 racking up a 3-second penalty. The way this is going, by the end of the race, you're either going to going to be a DNF or be penalized very harshly. Greever on the heels there of the caveman. Ooh, some nice pieces there. Don't see any car damage. If you can just get on the on the tunnel or so on, get that pass. Open the DRS. Staying under second. Let's hop on board here with Big Fudge. Seems to be just closing the gap and made a mistake there. Lost his advantage. On his teammate, Two McLarens. Clean race there from Tiny Ray. Greever closing the gap again. 2. Just not able to pass again. Doesn't seem to be able to pass. Okay, man, just opening that gap. Cooper taking from Big Fudge. Guys struggling to keep their cars on the road on this track. During the week practice, some of the guys said they just hope to finish. Well, actually a lot of the guys said they just hope to finish. This track, very, very technical. As you can see, ooh, nudging the barriers there. Good thing it's reduced damage. Ninja does 3-second penalty, multiple warnings. Ninja finally getting his first penalty. So on the whole grid, only 3 left without penalties. Got Joshua, got Ninja Dust, and Tiny Ray. Okay, there's a bit of a... my mistake there, sorry. Tiny Ray, Rez, and Joshua. As it stands now, if they had to finish now, you'd see Brett drop to 5th place, 10 second. The rest pretty much... You see Caveman drop to 3rd because that's less than 2 seconds, 5 second and 3 second. So the way the gaps are opening, those penalties in some cases won't even matter. You can see D2 just running away from the rest. 14 second gap already between D2 and number 2, the P2. Greever falling back to 4th. Sure, you just pushed too hard again, and yeah, that's what happens on this. The guys get a bit too anxious, push too hard, because some of the races are allowed to have assists, some not, because there are some experienced drivers, some inexperienced drivers. So it all depends on the amount of assists allowed. Now, if Greever, for instance, D2 as well, they only allowed one assist. Greever uses his driveline. That's why you'll see a lot of lockups on his braking and so on. Greever making a mistake, dropping to 7th. Good. Brut now chasing Cave. Let's see if he gets it. If he manages to get that second position from Caveman. Not that it would matter at the moment because he's got 5 seconds more penalty time than Caveman's got. So he has to outrun Caveman by at least 5 seconds to keep his position. But then again, the gap from him to 4th is more than 10 seconds. So even Tiny having a clean race, keep the position. Nobody able to catch D2. He's just, yeah. He's loving these conditions. Hop on board with him, see how the pros do it. No drifting, no wheel lockups, just clean drive line, clean driving. Sure, Greever is kicking himself for whatever mistake he made there. D2 just keeping the race clean. Caveman chasing hard. Ooh! Got Brut. Brut manages to do what Greever couldn't. He actually caught the Caveman. 2-second gap open up. But if you look at the time between Brut and D2, you'll see even being faster than number 2 by that much. Doesn't matter. D2's just having a great race. We've got Greever chasing hard again. Wants to climb up those the grid. 0.4 to Big Fudge. Big Fudge on the heels of Cooper. It's a nice fight going on there. 5, 6 and 7. Let's see who gets it first. Big Fudge seems to be having some front wing damage. Let's just have a look there. Yep. Little bit of damage on the front wing of Big Fudge there. On the right side. Doesn't seem to be too bad the way he's driving. And some damage there on the Renault as well of Cooper. These three pushing very hard for that position. I'm sure Greever is putting it all in now to catch up. Maybe rank up, get a 3rd place. Looks like D2 went in for a pit. He's now on 2nd. Yes, D2 went in pit. Let's see, D2 coming out. Still on 3rd after a pit stop. Now it's just doing some admin, catching up again, taking his place back. Seeing that Brut already has his 1 stop as well. Tiny, no stop yet. Get some guys on the back there, have 4 stops. Those wings and so on, damage. D2 taking his spot back. Second. Now chasing hard to catch up to Brut. 16 seconds. Let's see what he can do there. Tiny Ray chasing hard to keep up to D2. Nobody wants to give him too much gap. Greever still chasing the big fudge. Cooper getting a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Tiny Ray still yet to stop. Yo, Cooper is on 15 seconds. But the way the gaps are going, he'll only lose one position with 15 seconds. And Caveman with that stop also had his penalty taken. So no penalty left for Caveman. Caveman taking that position back. Cooper most probably made a mistake there. Big Fudge on Greever's heels. Greever in third position. D2. Now, if you look at the gap there to Brewitt, it seems to be staying the same time. This is interesting. Brewitt suddenly find his groove. Let's see. And interesting enough, Brewitt is one of the more inexperienced drivers, but he's been practicing very hard. So that practice time paying off in this race. Greever opening his gap to Big Fudge. Seems to be some nice big gaps overall there. Gap, let's see. From leader, you already have one lap on P9. Big Fudge coming in for new tires. 31 seconds from 1 to 3. Get to 1 to 5, 48 seconds. Britt seems to be keeping it there. Well, if Britt manages to keep this up, even with his 10-second penalty, he'll still be number one. But, yeah, and there D2 does it. He starts catching up. Probably warmed up those tires now a bit with this wet conditions and nighttime driving. Oh, and D2 in for a pit. Running that 3-second penalty. You can see changing tires, changing front wing. Done. Oh, that's my mistake. That's Brewitt. D2 leader again. Now let's see. Brewitt was doing very well there. Let's see if he can keep up to D2. He seems to be the only one that was able to do that. And that gap to D2. Tiny. Greever in and Tiny passing. Let's see what time he can. At what time he can come back. D2 struggling a bit with his car there. Okay, King Alpha struggling with his car. My mistake. Front wing seems to be the norm. Front wings every stop. King dropping to 8th place now. And staying. Ooh, Rez just nudging past. King on P9. Spider Pig, Ninja Dust just driving their car in Alphas. Just doing their thing in the back of the grid there. We're only on 24 of 39 laps, so a lot can still happen. DNF from Joshua also probably crash out there. Brut not catching, well, slowly catching, but managing to just keep the gap to D2. So any mistakes, see some drifting there from Ninja. So if you look at that, oh, and Brut seems to be catching. Only person on the grid that's been able to catch D2. So let's see. So on this track seems to be the only one, if anybody can do it, that would be Brut. Let's just hope. D2 otherwise seems like he's just running away from the rest of the grid. Get Tiny. Same 15-second gap to Brut. So just 1, 2, 3. That would give you a 30-second gap already. D2 just loving this. Greever just keeping that gap to the caveman. Big fudge. Rez seems to have used his penalty in his stop. So 2 clean drivers now, Tiny and Rez. And as far as I can remember, the only one not getting a penalty so far at all in this race. Tiny Ray on 3rd. And the rain just keeps on coming down. This track is wet. Seems like Tiny made a bit of a mistake there. Lost 2 seconds to Brut. Doesn't look like anybody's really catching up to anybody. Everybody's just in their comfort zones racing. Just hoping to finish the race. Only 2 DNF so far. Far less than was expected by all the drivers. But I'm sure that's why. Because why the time is only 1.30. Everybody's just driving that much more cautiously. Greever seems to be finally catching up to the caveman. Let's see what the caveman is doing. Just keeping that gap to Tiny. Tiny and Brut keeping their gaps about the same size there. Very uneventful race. I thought it was going to be a lot more action, crashing going on, the way the guys were talking. Everybody's stressing about this race, and now when it starts, even having a wet race, and yeah. D2 seems to be slowly opening that gap again. Back in his groove, tires probably warmed up now, just running his race. And then the gap between Brut and Tiny also slowly opening up there. And Greever closing his gap to Caveman. Clean drive lines there from Caveman. No wonder he's driving a very good race. Very clean race. And there you can see Greever right behind him. Still a 1.8 second gap there. That gap between Tiny and Brut just opening up now. Nobody's going to be able to, unless D2 makes a mistake. D2, Brut, Tiny makes the mistakes. We'll see. It's not likely that anybody's going to catch them. Huge gaps because of these conditions. Those gaps still opening. Tiny just slowing down. Those front two are running away. Gap between D2 Brut staying about the same, but the rest not able to catch up. Let's see on the back of the grid there. Caveman gap stays 11.5, 12.5 seconds. Greever closing his gap there to Caveman slowly. So let's see. Because he still has to outrun Caveman by at least 3 seconds to keep that position. Because he's on a 6-second penalty with Caveman only on 3 seconds. Cooper! Becoming not just collecting the penalties, he's hoarding them. Sitting on 18 seconds penalty. So if he had to pit now, he'd probably be able to get out, have some coffee, get ready, get back in the car and race it. King Alpha also 12 seconds. Grievous still closing that gap to the Caveman. But Tiny's gap to Brut's just getting bigger, where Brut's gap to D2 is actually closing. But now if he passes D2, he still has to outrun him by at least 2 seconds to keep pole position. Greever just not able, again, like in when they were racing for second and third, Greever Caveman, Greever just not able to catch the Caveman. Caveman closing that gap to Tiny. Back of the grid, I think those guys just now just driving, just staying in their comfort zones, just finishing the race. Because these gaps are huge. If you see gap to leader, third is already 41 seconds. From you've got 9 and 10. Although if you look at the gap, even from 7 is a lap behind. Greever taking from Big Fudge. Greever sitting in 5th now. Rest pretty much. And Dust 2 laps behind. Just finishing that race. But, and Spider Pig, the DNF for Spider Pig. Which means, like in previous races, at King Alpha, DNF. The DNFs are now coming. People hitting walls here. So, we've got Ninja still needs to catch up to King. 2 laps behind, not just 1. So he still has to catch up to King Alpha. Cooper, almost 2 minutes behind. You can say even Big Fudge, I would say, is about a lap behind D2. We're already on lap 30 of 39. huge gap now there between Greever and Caveman. So everybody finishing now gets their points. Like the guys were joking, whoever finishes the race is the winner. So they weren't too far off. Brut and Tiny. No penalties left. Well, Tiny, of course, hasn't had any penalties. Brut probably went to pit using those seconds. Still sitting on second. D2 making mistakes there on an 8 second. This is interesting because now, if the race had to finish as is now, Brut, seems like we have some damage there with D2. He's losing. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Didn't see the yellow flag. So, guys racking up. But now, this D2 will have to drive very hard now, because he has to open an 8 second gap. If the race finished as is now, D2 would drop to third place. Let's see, the gap between third and fourth is huge. So it all depends on how long this safety car stays out. Could be, if they catch up more, could be interesting that D2 drops even more. But then again, Caveman has a 3 second. And I'm sure D2 Brut just going to race to keep up to D2, knowing they don't need to pass him to win. Well, at least Brut. So the big race here is going to be between Tiny and Brut. Just see who gets second. And if this safety car stays out for much longer, D2 might drop more into fourth place. Greever, unfortunately, 6 second. Big Fudge, 9 second. Cooper, 18 seconds. You can see a little bit of desync there from Brut. Car jumping around a bit. That does tend to get a bit irritating at times of a race when it's a serious race. That's partly why ghosting has been switched on. There's guys that's the desync is so bad the cars actually jump all over, and sometimes it registers a hit where there was no hit. So D2 now dropping to fourth if the race finished now. We're on 31 to 31 of 39. Greever, Big Fudge just taking this opportunity, getting closer to the grid, of getting closer to the first three. But it's always this last, let's say 3 laps. Guys get a bit anxious, push a bit hard, more DNFs rack up. So yeah, it's a lot to happen in this race. 32 of 39. And still no signs of the yellow car or the safety car ending. That safety car staying out. Everybody just closing those gaps. Back to 8 and 9, not being able to. Although Ninja closed a whole gap, a whole lap gap. Rez again earlier struggling with his connection, being unstable. 5 second penalty to Rez. Severe collision with Big Fudge. That's unfortunate. And safety car will come in this lap. Now this shows everything. So right now, because there's a 3 second and a 6 second from Greever, 3 second from Caveman, as is now, if it stays the same, D2 would drop to 4th. Because that gap with Greevers is just too big. And there we go, we're off, green lights. D2 racing to open that gap. The thing is, he will be losing his position. Question is, how many positions? Because as you can see, Caveman already losing a lot of time to the front 3. D2 already second in front of number 2. So, prediction, I would say D2 is going to jump to 3rd in the end. I don't think he'll be 4th. I don't think Caveman will stay that close. But, let's see if they can prove me wrong. Everybody chasing hard now to keep up. Now the mistakes are going to start happening. Get some more DNFs going, some more wing damage. And wing damage at this stage is severe. It's a huge drop. You can see there, Brut. Only Brut and Tiny without the penalty still in this race. But they proved me wrong. They proved me wrong. Brut passing D2. Tiny catching up to D2. Seems like D2 has a little bit of... Yep. D2 has a little bit of front wing damage. That's unfortunate. He's sliding all over the place. Wing damage. Like I said, wing damage, it's a bad knock at this stage in the race. So as it happens now, if he finishes, D2 will finish, looks like 5th or 6th. Oh yes, but Greever's got that 6 second. So 5th or 6th, yeah. For D2. That's unfortunate. Same thing happened last time. End of the race, I think it was last lap. Somebody knocked him, damaged his wing, and there he goes. That wing's off. D2 is going to drop far in rankings now. That's so unfortunate. He had a brilliant race. Taking the chance, going in for that pit stop, replacing that front wing. Dropping far to 7th now. Being in front the whole race. That's how it goes. Greever pushing up to 3rd. Tiny coming down to 4th. Big Fudge dropping. Big Fudge still dropping. Also in the pits. Let's see. D2 at least in front of Big Fudge there. Let's see what he can do. Here we're in the last 5 laps of the race. We've got Cooper going up. Cooper having a very good race. Those two fighting hard for that position. But the way he's going, Brut's taking this. 9 seconds in front and no penalties. These 3 drivers, Cooper, Tiny, Greever, pushing hard now. Nice fight going on there. Let's see the fight between these two. We've got Tiny chasing hard here. Chasing Cooper. See if he can pass him. .2 seconds behind. Some of these guys can be very lucky about the ghost cars. Otherwise this race would be way more technical. You have to look out to not hit the drivers and so on. Yep, Tiny falling back. Greever catching up again. Let's see, Big Fudge staying on D2. Unfortunately, Big Fudge does have that 9-second penalty. Cooper, as far as things go, would drop. Even though he's got an 18-second, Cooper will only drop one position. Because between 5 and 6 is 22 seconds. Tiny chasing. Let's see what's happening on the front here. Greever closing that gap. Catching Caveman. But Greever needs to outrun him by 3 seconds. So, yeah. Now it's more for bragging rights. Because the actual grid, he's going to lose one. Even if he passes Caveman, he's still going to drop to actually his grid. So now it's just part of the race. Saying that he did it. He went past him. Ninja just falling behind again, 2 laps. Cooper staying on Tiny. D2 lost to Big Fudge. That is a surprise. Caveman and Greever having their fight, swapping positions. Unfortunate for D2, he had such a brilliant race. But that's how it goes. Let's see, there's fight going on in front here. Greever closing the gap again. Two laps, last 2 laps. Ooh, bit of slipping going on there from Greever. See if Greever can catch him in the tunnel. Just not able to catch him. Big fight between these two the whole race. They down lower in the rankings, back to 2-3, and you have Tiny staying on Greever here. 2, 3, and 4. As things are now, Greever will drop to 4th, Caveman to 3rd, Tiny to 2nd from 4th because of those penalties. The rest of the grid pretty much opened up again. Just these 3 having a nice fight here. Greever having some difficulties there with his traction. Like I said, he's one of the more experienced drivers, so no traction control, no ABS, nothing like that. Tiny staying on Greever. This huge gap. Oof. Brut just nudging the wall there. Be a bit more careful there. Imagine getting damaged like D2, pushing too hard and so on. Easy to happen, even though last lap could still happen. Time remaining, and we have a winner. Brut takes it. Caveman. So, if it stays as is, it will be Brut, Tiny Ray, Caveman, Greever, Big Fudge, Cooper, D2, Rez, Ninja Dust. Another 3 second for Ninja Dust. And Cooper getting some more there. 21 seconds. D2 on 13 seconds. Totally broke his concentration there. That damage. So there you can see final grid. Brut, Tiny, which was a AI. So for the race itself, you won't be getting any points. But Brut, Tiny, Caveman, Greever, Big Fudge, Cooper, D2, Rez, Ninja Dust, King, Alpha. We have the 4 DNFs. So let's get some of that. Let's get some of the drivers in here. Talk to them. Okay, so we have Brut with fastest lap. And we have Cooper as driver of the day. He did have a very good day. Let's see if we can get those drivers in here. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Yes. How was the drive? Brilliant finish there.
Quite wet.
We did leave it that way, yes, because it originally started as a wet. That's why we kept it that way. But in general, how was the race?
Oh, it was a good fun race. Just had some bad luck with the first safety car.
Yeah,
Came at the casino corner. I did not see there was a. They stopped there and I went into Caveman.
It happens. Yeah,
and then I pitted for a front wing and then I could not catch the safety car queue and they gave me a drive-through penalty.
and that's Brut talking. He had the fastest lap and won the race to this evening.
Yeah, I put the fastest
Yes,
lap in on the last lap.
Most practice.
And and then we have Cooper.
Hello, yes.
Driver of the day.
Yeah, man.
You could-
That was a
very good
surprise
race.
for me.
Nice
That
fights
was
there
very
between yourself and the Greever.
Yeah,
Quite
I
a
had
few
to-
times.
I had to keep Greever away from Caveman. But
what a
have a
good
bit of
teammate.
yeah, so I can help my teammates. So I did what I had to do.
Yeah, but Caveman having a brilliant race. Even Greever kept on fighting. Quite a few. They were in front of the grid. They had a fight. They had a back of the grid. They had a fight. So yeah,
fight, we'll fight.
I just played so defensive. I was like, make my car as wide as possible for Greever, make it hard. That's all I did. That's my entire race scheme.
No, but it was a good. In general, it was a good, clean race.
Right, you little bugger, you said something and I messed up.
And you guys can be very lucky for the reduced damage and the ghosted car. Because
I was just happy I could serve my 10-second penalty in the pit stops.
Yeah.
I had to pit twice to serve 5-5. Yeah, because Parapig went into the back of me and then it gave me the penalties. So I got double back what I did to Caveman.
and
got
then,
I gave him a 5-second
Time.
penalty and then it's like the back mark's like, no, you need the 10-second.
yeah, but then until last 10 laps, D2 was having the race of his life, had the front wing damage, and fell back all the way in the grid.
After the safety car, our tires were cold. So I think on that first lap, past the straight, on the straight, on the first corner, he just lost it. The tires were still cold.
Because he was running away, nobody could catch him, and then suddenly he fell back. Even not to sound nasty, but even Big Fudge caught up to him in the back of the grid.
It's like Greever says, anything can happen around Manaco.
Because the whole race, I thought D2's going to take it. And then he
was
just got some penalties, damaged wing, and all that. And it's just like it broke his concentration. But in general, very, very good race. There were some nice fights going on. And that, again, like last week, that nice safety car changed the whole race.
Yeah, made a big difference.
And,
Oh.
and who was it? Cooper, did you have your 21 seconds of penalty? You weren't just collecting them, you were hoarding them.
Teammate did a thorough job. He definitely deserves some prize pool money.
It's a new world record.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
that
well.
was a good race.
Yeah, unfortunate
Interesting.
with that the technical difficulties Tiny were having, and then less DNFs that you all thought. Everybody was joking. The one that finishes the race is going to be the one that wins. We only had 4 DNFs.
Very, very impressive.
Surprisingly, yeah. Surprisingly.
Everyone
Just
drove
for
very
wet
well.
Monaco.
Although you could see the stops, the people are racking up the stops because of the wing damage.
Yeah, Rez, I think Rez about 10 wings that he had to replace.
I got wing damage behind the safety car, the first safety car on
Started
Caveman.
borrowing
And after
Greevers.
that,
So
I
it
just-
was-
Yeah, he started
so
borrowing
Rez's
Grievous.
team had a whole extra container just for the wings.
Yeah.
The top stops for the evening, 7 stops each. There's a ninja dust.
They started using Weaver's back wings. as the front wing.
Anyway, guys, it was a nice race, nice clean race, good racing. And
Thank you, God.
what's the track next week? This coming Friday?
Azerbaijan.
Jean Baku.
Azerbaijan. Oh. Okay. So thanks everybody. Thanks for the evening. Thanks to the people watching. And
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Con.
see you guys on
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Enjoyed it.
guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well
Cheers,
done,
cheers.
Cooper! Teammate. Oh, yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, lad.